My name is Pastor Don Haselhuhn, Trinity Lutheran Church in Burlington. Welcome to this morning's children's talk. Unlike normal mornings when well, at least as normal as these times are, typically I'm all the way up here in front of that ladder, and now I'm sitting way in the back, as a good Lutheran would. This is where the ushers sit. I'm sitting here because of what's directly behind me. A wonderful picture of somebody you might know. And the gospel reading for today, known as the Road to Emmaus, has that person, Jesus, walking on the road. Actually, there's two disciples as they walk and talk on Easter afternoon. They've left Jerusalem. We don't know exactly why they wanted to go to Emmaus. No idea. But they were going home. They were frustrated, as they tell Jesus later on. Some people say he is risen, but not everybody has seen it. Only the women, and of course, no one's trusting the women. So they've left, and Jesus asked them what they're talking about. And Cleopas, who has to be probably the most clueless disciple, even more than Thomas, is like, are you the only guy in Jerusalem who has no idea what's been happening? And it's Jesus. Of course he knows everything. He's the only person in Jerusalem who knows exactly what is happening. And so he tells them, in so many words, exactly what was supposed to be happening. From the Old Testament, probably the greatest Sunday school lesson ever, the longest, as it took up most of this 7-mile walk. And when they get to where they're going, Jesus acts as if he's going further. And they're like, no, come on inside. And then their eyes are open. And they know it's Jesus as he breaks bread, just like he did Maundy Thursday, just a couple days earlier. And then he disappears. They don't see him. Now, these are people, unlike last week, who, when we were talking about not being able to see without my glasses, they didn't have glasses in Jesus' day, but they had Jesus physically in front of them. Unlike Thomas, they saw him, and yet they did not know it was him. They knew once they realized that it was him and he had left. Everything he was saying was true. They said, "Didn't our hearts burn within inside us as he spoke the words to us?" And one of the things that really strikes me, and it's always interesting, is that um, after he has been crucified and risen from the dead, Jesus pops up all over the place, and then 50 days later, he ascends into heaven. And we haven't got to that part yet. That's in our church. That's when the Christ candle that's all the way up front goes back up by the altar, and kind of our picture that Jesus has ascended in heaven. And yet we know, and we talked about this the first week I did one of these children's talks, is that Jesus, um, I can't hear myself, so I need to put my glasses on. No matter what's happening, even if you can't physically see him or those wonderful pictures of him, we know that Jesus is with us each and every step of the way. He's in the Word, as he showed to the guys as they're walking to Emmaus. He's in our Bibles. And so if you want to hear more about Jesus, ask mom and dad to crack open the Bible and read more stories about him, the wonderful things he does for us, and the wonderful promise he has. And it's at the end of Matthew. It's the last verse of the Gospel of Matthew. Jesus says, "And lo, I am with you always, to the very end of the age." Jesus is always with you. No matter where you are, no matter what's happening, he's with you because he loves you.